Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Cody, your host, and today I will be presenting how to deal with keywords and key files with our Python library. So let's get started. Pew pew pew, Python 3.6. First of all, the import is important because important, we need. In a previous video I shown to how to load a file into kind of a key file object, which usually contains these keywords. Okay, it's pretty simple. I will show it here as an example. You can just open it with the file path and everything will be right. I will not use mesh parsing here. This will be a video later on. So here we go. You can see what keywords were in the file by putting keyfile.keys. And by doing so, you can see what's inside and you can just query for them, for example, by using, let's get this part here. Keywords. And what you get back are not kind of like, there's one part keyword here, but there might be multiple parts. And this is just like a filter mechanism, so you get back a list of parts. Here it's only one, but usually you get more. So let's just extract it so we can be more verbose. And here we go. You can just print it, by the way. And you get the data inside, so you can check it interactively if you want. It's nothing similar. You can just, it's like string from keyword, and then it's converted to this string here. Like I mentioned in my previous video, the keyword actually is just, it saves these lines as they are and just provides means to manipulate these lines here. And the keyword class is really huge. There are a ton of possibilities to manipulate it. I will go through it step by step. And what I will leave out for now is you can, for example, set certain lines to values, whatever. You can do stuff like this, but I will not kind of catch how you manipulate these lines, because this is just for hacking what I say. If there's some trouble here, you can just jump in and set a line to a certain value if my API might not do the job, which hopefully it should do all the time. So the first thing you can do is, let's get this first PID value. So what you can do is you can just address it by this, and you can say it, okay, I want the PID, and you get it out here. And please note that what it does is it goes kind of through the comments above here and searches for the field PID. Of course, when it cannot find it, it throws an error. But we cannot know whether a part has a PID field, because we would have to code the entire manual, which is just not fun. And also doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, the data format is not generic enough to do this automatically. But who cares? As long as when you kind of document your file here, everything is fine. It doesn't matter whether this PID is aligned to the left, middle, or right. My algorithm doesn't care about it. So this is the way. What you can also do is you can address it by, for example, indexing. So this is card 0, this is card 1, the first card. And there you have here field 0. We are programmers, we count from 0. So what you can do is, okay, give me 1.0 and here you get it. You get this value out. So this is very simple. What you can do is you can just modify the field to, I don't know, 200. Let's print it again. Here we go. And then what you could do, you could just save the key file again. And then, you get kind of the identical copy except for the modified value here. And this is kind of where it's meant for. Read it in, modify your stuff or add stuff, both is fine. Deletion is not too nice. It can delete, it cannot delete mesh stuff. When the mesh is parsed here, it's not parsing. I will explain it later. And so in general, you can build up your files, you can manipulate them. So in general, it's really good. What you can also do is, of course, You can also just ask for the 0th card, which is I am beautiful, which is this line here. Note that in general, every keyword has a field size. Usually it's 10 characters in LSDyna, which means 10 characters are here. The problem is we cannot know. Sometimes it's switching to 8. So you can set it manually also to 8 if you require it. So if you encounter any weird problems with setting your stuff, please fix this manually, because there's no chance for us to do this automatically. We're thinking of many ways, but it didn't work out without hard coding the manual, which is, like I said, not a task we can do currently in terms of effort. So let's continue like this. The field size is fine, but if you read, for example, the heading here, let's do the 0.0th field, okay? You can see that it's cut, it's cropped, because the field is only 10 size, but this field is a special field which it has a higher size, so you can just add, I don't know, the field has 80 in the manual, so you can just put 80, and you see you get the whole thing back. 80 would be like the whole line here, but it kind of squishes it to the left because there's nothing here, so it's kind of smaller here. Okay, so this is the way how you can deal it. These bracket operators are just a trick. So what you can usually also use, and which I would recommend to avoid confusion at some point, is you got these wrapper functions, get card value by index, for example, which is this one here. We also, of course, have get card value by name, which kind of does the same thing for the PID thing, and so forth. So these bracket operators are just utility for wrapping these up, but if you require more, kind of these functions have more utilities than you think. So you should definitely look in them, because they can do more than I can do in these brackets here. The next thing is, of course, setting card values can also is one of these points where you can do more things than actually just setting one field. For example, let's set card value by index, because we use the index, and we just set the PID field. Or no, let's add a new one below. That's maybe even better. And we say, okay, the value, I don't need to tell that. The value should be 300. I don't know why, maybe some ID. And you can give it a name. Here, my ID. And of course, if you require it, when it has a special length, you can set, okay, it's 30 wide or whatever, but here it's also 10 wide, so it's fine. So we set it, and when we print it, you can see that it's adding up this header here, and it's setting in this value. You can see that by default it's aligning on the left here, but these other values are aligned on the right. So let's say I'm not happy with this. I want to align my values also to the right. How do I fix this? Now, we implemented more formatting in this tool, but this is the kind of the way how to do it. First, you have to modify sorry, the settings. Okay, so there are kind of formatting settings in the back, which you can address. So let's say we want keyword dot, let me lie. Oh, I should have looked this up before I did the tutorial. The main purpose was because I know people usually come along and say, oh, I want this left, I want this on the right, and so forth. Oh, here it is. Thank you for your patience. That was the wrong settings addresser. So we can say, okay, I want to align this name. Alignment is called the field. It's in the documentation. So we say, okay, we want to align it to the right, and we also want to align the field to the right, okay? And what you can then do is just you might take keyword.reformat all, and very important, we need to skip the first field here, card, because it has a non-uniform field. The problem is when it's reformatting, it's pushing these from the left to the right, of course, but only because it knows that this field has a size of 10. And for example, here we don't know it, but we can just skip it, and there is another function for fixing this if you really require it. So we kind of skip the 0th card, and when we kind of print it again, you see that we got it aligned to the right. We can do even more. We can add spacers. You will see exactly what I mean in a second, like name spacers. And of course, also, if you really want to have that, you can add the delimiters and of course enable them. And when we now reformat the card again, you will see it in a second. Honey? Yeah, here we go. So the spaces are just filling up these spaces in between. These are the delimiters, kind of separating these keywords. And yeah, that's all it's working. But for example, here we are not happy. We don't want to have this alignment to the right. So I would be more loving this alignment to the middle. One to the middle, second to the middle. And oh no, I need to reformat, of course. Okay, here we go. So it's now everything is fine in the middle. And we can of course also do this for the first card, for which I'm really, oh no, I terminated. No, shame on me. But there is another function to do this. So this is almost everything important about the keywords in brief, okay? How to get them, how to manipulate them. There are more functions around it, but these are the most important ones. And of course, yeah, if you like the video, please like it. If you have questions, of course, put them in the comment section or on GitHub. I will usually read them quite fast. And if you want to support this project, you can of course do that on Patreon. Thank you very much and see you next time.